What's going on, guys? Once again, welcome back to the channel. This is SR Studio channel for music producers, photographers, and lightroomers. I just want to say thank you all for being part of this community and for making the channel grow. Alright, so today I have another tutorial for you. And here we are in Photoshop trying to get this photo to the way it's going to be looking stunning. Alright, so we've been doing a lot of retouching tutorial. I bet this would be a little bit different. So in order not to let the video long and make it shorter, let's dive right into the tutorial. Alright, so now one of the things I want to do and one of the things I've spotted is the exposure. I can see that even if it is not, clipping or very exposed, of which I can't tell right now unless I put it in Capture One. But I guess I just don't like the way it's actually very exposed right here compared to our face. So I'm going to fix that, and then our skin color is not actually the same. Okay, so let's just get right into the process. Alright, first thing I'm going to do, I like using the exposure, but this time I'm not going to use the exposure. I'm going to go to the camera raw filter. So let's duplicate the layer, Ctrl J, and then this is image to edit, and I'm just going to turn up this one, and then let's focus on this one. So go to filter, I'm going to go to camera raw filter, and then it's going to take the time to load up. So here we are in camera raw filter, and you can see over here, if I hover over it, we have so many highlights that's actually very high. Okay, so now first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take down the exposure just a bit till where I see it matches this one. I'm going to bring down the highlight also. That's too much. And the white. Okay, so but let's try another one, bringing down the highlight just a bit, somewhere around there, and let's take up the highlight and see if we can get a bit, bring down the exposure. Okay, I guess this is actually looking okay. Let's toggle on the before and after, and we can see that it's actually looking not over bright. Okay, so this is good to me. I'm gonna hit OK on the keyboard just to exit, and now we can see that we've actually ended up bringing down the image from being bright. So I'm going to mask this one, and after masking it, I'm going to invert the mask, and I'm going to take my brush tool. Okay, so now let's paint with white, and I want to paint on our hands and then cover all this place up just like so. Okay, and some of this place too. So let's undo that, and let's do that again. Decrease the flow of the brush to make it look natural. So something like this, actually looking okay to me. And on our dress also, I'm just going to do that. And then we've hidden some part of our body and this part too. Okay, so this is looking okay. All right, so now we are here with from this to this, not a little bit, not a big change. So this to this, a face didn't change that much. All right, so now I'm going to create a stamp visible layer, and then after creating a stamp visible layer, I can turn this off. We have two images. We're going to go back to the camera raw filter again and then make some adjustments. So camera raw filter. So here we are in camera raw filter, and what I'm going to do, I want to increase the tint and touch the temperature a little bit. So I'm going to take the tint to this side, and also I want the photo to look yellowish and not bluish kind, because the bluish tends to make the skin texture different. So this is actually giving the skin texture to look. So let's reset this first of all, and let's take this up right somewhere there, and bring this up to somewhere there. Let's see if we can. So this is okay. All right, so now bring down the highlight, no, not the highlight, the white, just a bit. Okay, and I'm going to increase the blacks to give a little bit, decrease the shadows to have more, dimension. Okay, let's still increase the highlight just a bit, so as not to just somewhere around there. I'm going to touch this a little bit, the yellow, and this few kind of few. Increase this one just a bit, so somewhere around there. And let's go down to texture. I'm going to increase the texture just around, just that side. Let's take the vibrance. Let's take the saturation. Let's leave the saturation. So I think I'm good with that. All right, so the next place I'm going to go to is the color mixer. Sorry, so let's go to the color mixer, and this time around we're going to work on this one. Let's start with the saturation first of all. I'm going to increase the orange, and let's see about the red. Increasing the red, how does it feel like? Okay, that's starting happening there. So let's decrease the green, saturation of the green a little bit. Okay, let's see about the yellow. Bringing down the saturation of the yellow just a bit. The aqua, I'm going to leave that up, increase this one. I'm also going to increase this one just a bit. Now you can't see the changes that much, but it's actually changing the image. So that looks pretty cool to me. I'm just going to increase the red also to that. So now I'll go to luminance and decrease the greens. That's we are actually going to focus on. Let's see about the aquas, and I'm going to increase, go back to the saturation just because of the eyes. I'm going to increase the blues. I'm going to increase the purples just because of the eyes. I'll go to luminance now. To make the eye pop up, I'm going to increase the blue, luminance of the blue. All right, so now the toggle, if I bring down the oranges a little bit, gives makes the image looks okay, instead of bringing it up and just look somewhere. It gives it the return, so just a little bit, and we can actually increase the, because we decrease the red. All right, so for the yellow, I'm going to take it down, and then we have something like this. Magenta, luminance of the magenta, bring it down, and that of the blues, I'm going to take it up because I want that one and the purples too. Okay, so let's go to the hue. And if this, I don't want to touch anything here, or of course, if you want to change the yellow of the blue to green, or make it more yellowish, I think I'm going to go with this one. So I'm not going to do much on this one. I'm going to close that. Now let's go to the last tab, which is the color and the calibration. And I'm going to increase the red just like so. So see what happens, increasing the red and decreasing the blues, make the photo more, enhanced. We can actually increase that so well, so that you can actually see the difference in the effect of what we did. Okay, so this is too much right now, so just a little bit, and bring this 23, 24. So just take this back a little. All right, so this is actually looking good. I'm going to close that. Let's go back to the basic, and this time around increase the contrast. I'm going to leave it at, let's say, 7. Okay, just because of the darks of which I've increased. I'm going to go to the texture. Okay, we've actually increased that one. Let's increase the vibrance. It's okay. So now let's click on OK. We can see toggle of before and after, but there is no need for that. I just don't like doing that. So what a big change we can see on the screen. So this is before, and then this is after. So one more thing I can do, I can grab my exposure tool, and this time around increase the gamma, and gives it some depth. But if it becomes too dark, or bring it up, becomes too light. So let's see the one that we are actually looking at. I guess it's just bring it down just a little. Okay, Now we are actually there. So the next thing we're going to do, if you check our face, is to do some frequency separation. So I'm just going to quickly do the frequency separation. And for that is to create a stamp visible layer. But I'm just going to, yes, let's create a stamp visible layer. And I'm going to turn this off because those are the two effects. And I'm going to duplicate this layer J and name this one color. So you can skip this step if you already know how to do some frequency separation, texture, and I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to show you when I'm done. Alright, so I'm done with the frequency separation. So let's check our before, and then our after with frequency separation. Although much can be done, but for I just want to get things done on time. You can actually take your time if you're doing this at home. So one thing I also want to do or get right is this. I want it to be like a face, the part of our skin. So you know how we always do it. Let's grab our hue and saturation method and pick the slider. Let's pick somewhere like this. Increase this. Okay, so now I'm going to select where it's actually just going to be our end, and then I'm going to blend it together. So one way to get it is if you take it to this side, it's going to highlight just the darks. You can see it's selecting the dark side, but since we're trying to select the lighter part, we take it to the left. The lighter part, you can see this is the lighter part, so I'll turn it back on. So I just say let me just throw that as a tip before I finish. Okay, so now I've selected that range, just going to close it. Okay, I think we did something wrong. Let's go to where it actually is. I'm not supposed to close that. Let's do that again. Let's delete that, delete, go to hue and saturation, and then I'm going to pick this one and then pick somewhere here. So let's increase this so we have something like this. Okay, so I want to try and select just that place alone. All right, so back to this. I'm finding it difficult to select just that side, so let's reset this one and then we're going to mask it out. Now let's go back, increase the hue so you can see what is actually going on. Then let's click on the mask, brush tool, and I'm going to deselect the face. Okay, let's invert the mask, Control I, and paint with white wherever I want it. I'm going to close this one, and then I'm going to paint just the ends because that's where. Let's increase the flow 100 so it will be snappy. So I'm doing a rough work right here, and I think this place is actually needed. Okay, so I just selected just only the end. And let's go back to the hue and saturation, click on 0. Okay, so now I'm just going to change the hue of this till it gets to this. But first of all, I think it's actually the lightness and the saturation that needs to be adjusted. So if I decrease the lightness and increase the saturation, let's see how it looks. Okay, it's getting closer to that. Okay, not too much, just more a little bit, just like so. Then let's see about where this is going to go. Okay, so this is looking okay compared to before. All right, so just a little bit change. You will notice that. See before and then after. So we've actually corrected that. And what I want to do is just to grab the color balance at last, color balance, and then go to the highlight and make some red, and let's give some magenta. Okay, go to the midtones, just a little bit red, +1, then decrease this one just a bit. Let's go to the shadows. Things get a little bit, just a little bit red, and bring this one back a little, -3, and we can add some yellows too and make it, because we don't want the highlight to give it some yellows, just one, and then we can compare and see before and after. So it looks amazing, right? Yeah. So if at all I want to decrease that of the background, I can add something like a vignette. But let's do that with curves. I'm going to bring it down, like, see if I want this, and that should look good. Just a little bit. Now it's affecting the full image, so I'm going to invert it and then paint with a brush with the flow of 50 or 48, and then I'm going to paint on the background and the side of the image too, just to bring the subject out the more. And if I want to get things more interesting, I'm actually going to, increase the subject face with camera raw filter. So let's click on Ctrl Shift Alternate E to create a stamp visible layer, and this time around we're going to go to camera raw filter again. So here we are in camera raw filter, and one thing I want to touch is the highlight. So I'm going to increase the highlight till I see something different on the nose. So that is okay. I'm going to increase the white, and instead of using the contrast, I'm going to give it some texture, and you can see that we're actually texture just one, clarity +1. Okay. I'm not going to touch the saturation and any other unless I want to do some. We want to do something different like the color grade. Alright, so this is actually looking okay for me, and I'm going to click OK, and you can see that the changes has been made. So let's see, group every other thing we actually do from the beginning, and you see the before and after, turn it off, and then we went from year to year, getting the best color profile for your image without changing the image that much. So alright, so thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, do like the video and share. If you are new on the channel, please subscribe to the channel. It helps the channel a lot. If you're new, please kindly subscribe. Alright, so for more content coming in and you want to get notified, hit the notification bell and you get notified. So see you on our next video. Thank you.